Hello! It is week 4 of the pilot season of Beastieball Draft League. We have a heck of a matchup this week. I am playing this week against Zonk, who, if you look at the screen and look at the standings right now, is in first place and undefeated and has not dropped a single game yet this season in 3 weeks so far. We're gonna see if we can change that. I don't have the most faith in myself, but I have a team prepped for this. And we're gonna see how it goes. I'm 2-1 right now. We lost last week against Ket. That was our first loss of the season, but it was a close Game 3 set. Either way, let's talk about Zonk's team. Zonk has all of the beasties they typically use outside of draft as well. It is honestly a crime that we let them get all of these, but we did, and we have only ourselves to blame. So I have to deal with this absolute beautiful mess of Dread, Quake, Superorganism, Tractor Beam, Sweat Stall. This team is a menace. Zonk is probably, I would say, the strongest stall player right now. If I had to guess, Dino obviously is up there. Just like in the entire PvP scene, Dino is obviously always up there, but Dino's particular brand of stall got changed a lot, whereas Zonk's hasn't been nerfed as much because the exhaust change didn't quite affect them as much. With that said, I would be scared to face this team if Skuldra still had Does. Either way, this team is scary. There's obviously Tractor Beam with Alrex. There's all sorts of eruption and heat wave nonsense that could come out of Skuldra and probably will. Dugout can be a hugely terrifying spirit attacker once it gets grit up and going. Armantis with Monster Block means my game plan is basically moot if I decide to go full offense. So that's terrifying. Conjurer sets up Dread. Skuldra sets up Dread. Conjurer also just generally a very good defensive beastie. It can hit 98 in its worst defensive stat. Orgella, terrifying in terms of offense on Dread and similar teams because it can just run Blaze and Relentless, and it will get back up to full HP. Flowish can do pretty much the same thing, just with slightly worse defenses than Orgella, so if Zonk so chooses, they could bring 2 offensive Relentless Superorganism menaces. Gastic is also there. I don't think Gastic is coming, but it might because I do have a Riplash. If it does come, that's a bit of an issue. Not a massive issue, but it's a bit of an issue. I don't think it's going to, though. I think that Zonk is probably going to stick to their guns for the most part. I'm expecting probably Alrex, Skuldra, Dugout, Armantis, Orgella, maybe Conjar. Conjar, I actually wouldn't be surprised to see come, seeing as I have a Riplash on my team, and body defense is nice when you're dealing with Riplash. But either way, my goal this week is basically to make sure that Zonk's game plan doesn't particularly work. That is not the right thing. Here we are, it's team setup. We are not looking at the in-game party, we are looking at team number 17 here. Okay, it is finally time for the beam that makes things old. We are this week focusing our strategy on a Echo Strike Trat, which has cleanup to get rid of any Quake and Dreadful Mist if I want to, but more to give it to Zonk's beasties and then probably take Superorganism off of Orgella, because I think that's the thing I'm most terrified about. You'll notice that all of my beasties have a lot of Spirit Defense investment. I think the Orgella is very scary. The Skuldra also The Orgella is very scary, the Dugout is very scary, the Scaldra is very scary. I have some Mind Defense investment as well, mainly on the beasties that need it more, because Albrax can put on the hurt as well, and our Mantis will likely run Mind if it's running offense. Not much body offense. Not much body defense here, because the only thing that really would run any body moves here would be our Mantis, or maybe if Zonk goes crazy, like High Slam Conjar. I don't think that our Mantis will run body, simply because I also have a Beetleback in the back with plenty good body defense, and I Skiff Rig with also extremely good body defense, so... If Zonk reads that I am bringing all three of my particularly body-weak beasties in Trat, Magpike, and Riplash, then I am in a world of hurt. I am simply gambling on that not happening. That's my big gamble here. There was definitely some other gamble that I've forgotten about, but either way, Trade Dance Trat is the centerpiece of this team this week. Ideally, do I want it to be Mischief though? I think I actually want it to be Mischief and I changed the trait. That explains it. I definitely want it to be Mischief because the entire idea, and I'm gonna go change this right now in the gym. The entire idea is on counterserve, I can Trait Dance Ancient twice if I want to, or Trait Dance Ancient once and do I want it to be cleaned up though? Oh gosh, here's the question. Because whatever I have on Trat, I'm probably giving to Shloom, so I think I do actually want it to be cleaned up, and that was probably intentional on my part. Oh, it's a hard choice. You can see how much I've been thinking about this. I want to at least take a game this week. I'd ideally like to win. So to get on to more of the team, because Trat is not the only thing here. Jeez, is this the team? Did I fix the team? Yeah, I did. Yes, this is the team. Getting worried for a sec. We have two Provokers this week. Shloom here running just a sideways move, but a ton of Mind Attack investment. We'll see how that set goes. I don't think it's going to be all that great at putting the hurt on, but it is effective enough at keeping Zonk's beasties in the front row just simply by being on the field, and I do want some sideways pressure. The only other beastie that could do that here would be Trat, and really, I would like Trat to be able to click Superorganism build. The entire goal is get Superorganism off of Orgella this week. If I can do that, I think I have a good chance. We also are bringing Cyclone again this week, this time on Riplash. Riplash here has Shake Off in order to remove any sweaty from itself and sort of keep it healthy. And it hits a very, very respectable 125 Spirit Defense with all the investment we've given it. Muscle Memory there with Launcher for just straight damage. I could also, if I deem it worthwhile, like, Trait Dance Launcher onto Trat and start giving Zonk's Beasties Launcher, although I think that's going to be probably a little more risky than giving them Ancient for reasons that I think are pretty apparent. But yeah, that one's here as a way to potentially finish off the game with just a whole bunch of hard damage once I've ideally cycloned a bunch of Zonk's Beasties out so that they can't get drained, and then basically one-shot everything on the bench. Magpike also here. This time we're running Crafty. Similar set to last week with Steel and Finisher still around, except this time we have Relaxed Hit. I really wanted to focus on having a lot of healing on my team this time around, just because with Dread and Quake, I am terrified of how quickly my team can get just worn down. So Steel is there to counteract Quake. Relaxed Hit is there. Whenever Magpike with Crafty clicks Relaxed Hit, it gets 40 HP back, 40 stamina. Tord Anchor also has Relaxed Hit here. Also, that I believe should be Shanty. I meant to change it to Shanty and I did not get around to it. Do I have them all in the in-game party? Let me fix that real quick, because that's pretty important. I am glad I am checking all of this, because not having Shanty there would actually be really rough. I definitely really want to be able to set up Drum if I so desire. Obviously with cleanup around not as huge an issue. Do I want it to be Mischief? The main thing is I'm probably giving this trade away. Having Mischief build on defense would be nice, actually. And this is my counter serve, so yeah, I am actually going to change that trait. I think what I determined in thinking about it through team building is that a lot of Zonk's beasties can't really do anything too annoying with Mischief on defense, so I don't mind them having it. I think the one I'd maybe be most scared of is like Orgella being able to click Blaze on defense. Provoke on defense isn't exactly a big deal, I don't think. And besides, I think Zonk has a few provokers in Albrex or Mantis and Conjar, but I think it's pretty likely that they're only going to bring provoke on one of those. So let me make sure I'm going in with the correct team before we set up the room. Set in-game party as the current team. There we go. Mischief and Shanty, those are the correct traits. Either way, yeah, Zonk doesn't have many sideways moves, so I don't see too much of a need to run a captain this week. I think Zonk is going to forego the sideways moves, most likely because I'll have captains and they like clicking Eruption a lot. So that's the other gamble I'm taking that I forgot. I'm taking the gamble that they don't have any sideways moves, and thus I don't need any like ways to move to the front without clicking move to the front. So crossing my fingers there. If they bring Cut Shot Conjar or Careful Shot Orgella, then we will take things as they come. Or Slice Gastic even. But we have a lot of Spirit Defense, so I'm not too scared about sideways moves in this matchup. As I mentioned before, everything is super invested. I actually just straight up stole the Tort Anchor spread from last week and didn't change it at all, so we'll see if that works or not. But yeah, you'll notice we're really body weak, so again, hoping their Mantis isn't body. Anything I didn't mention about the team so far? No, I think that's about it. So I'm gonna go ping Zonk and say, let's get the room going. Whew. I'm scared. I wanna give a good showing this week at least. Just make absolutely sure that everything is correct. Yeah, Tort Anchor with Refresh here again to counteract Quake. I could go for some other move there, but I think I'm not scared. I'm not all that scared about Zonk's offense. I think simply because I have such good Spirit Defense across my team. So I'm hoping that not having too much offense of my own will not come back to bite me. But I do have a lot of offense of my... Basically, my goal this game is make Zonk's Quake and Dread shenanigans work against them. We're gonna see how it works. I'm sure there are some like wild sets that I haven't really thought of a counter for, but we're just gonna do our best and see how it goes. Zonk will hopefully be here in a sec. And I inhaled water. There we go. All right. Settings are all correct. 3 points to win. First serve is random. Time limit's extended. Undo is on. Here goes nothing. Okay, what did we see? We do see Conjar, no Albrax this week, probably because I've been running a lot of Mind. Makes sense. I do have several Mind Beasties here. Scaldra and Conjar are notably not that much Mind defense, and they're going to be the ones clicking Dread, so I think Slice is going to be quite helpful. I am serving, which is annoying. I could give something Mischief right away on the serve, which is especially helpful if it's a Scaldra counter serve, which I expect it probably will be. Realistically, Zonk is probably running Heat Wave here. So I'd like to get an Echo Strike off and get... and just get Unflappable off of Dugout, so it has a much harder time staying on the field. Yeah, we see Scaldra Dugout. It does have Chant, which Mischief Chant could be a little bit annoying, but we're gonna hit it nonetheless. And see how it goes. So the Dugout will now be on more of a timer, which is pretty useful. And yeah, it's the typical, it's pretty much what Zonk always runs on these two beasties. So not too surprised to see that. So what do I want to do? I think the answer is I'd like Ancient, so I can start stealing that. I could have clicked Mischief Built there, but I think this is fine. I'm just gonna start clicking Slice, I think. Foggy can stay on Scaldra because I'm not boosting anything, so I'm actually just gonna take Mischief back from Dugout. I can now also provoke on defense, which I suppose is somewhat interesting because I can stop the Dugout from Torch passing here. So Dugout is now Ancient, which is useful. And the question is, what do I want to damage? I think Zonk is probably just clicking block here, so I'm actually going to slice the... who do I want to slice? I'd like to slice the back row so Scaldra doesn't get an easy receive. Okay, we see Orgella in. Makes sense. The superorganism is here. Trat is Mischief again. I can't build successfully here, so I think I am just gonna Torch Pass out. Trat can't go down here, which is nice. I'm gonna send Tort Anchor in and hope that... Yeah, okay. Zonk hits the Trat, which is kind of expected there. But that means I can get Rhythm up, which is helpful, and I can also steal Superorganism real quick, which is the main goal here, is getting Superorganism off of this menace. I think. Yeah. I could also, to be fair, click build here, but I think the Scaldra might... I don't think the Scaldra's gonna sting, actually. I think it's gonna be Heat Wave here, now that I think about it. So maybe I just provoke the Scaldra? Let's think about that. And then it can't block, so I also will knock it out here, actually. Yeah, hold on, this is the right play. Trat goes down here. Scaldra tags out. But this is ideal. We didn't hit the Armantis, which was another big, important thing. I think we almost certainly just tag out to Magpike here. Is the Orgella down? The Orgella does unfortunately go down, which is truly sad. It is at +2, which I don't like to see. I definitely think I want to click Provoke here. I could also click Relaxed Hit from the front. Now that I think about it, that might be a better idea. There's still Quake Up, which is excessively annoying. Our Mantis, notably next turn, will be in finisher range. Either way, we don't hit the Armantis here. Yeah, we do see the block, which is annoying. It probably clicks Deep Breath here, honestly. But either way, Ricochet isn't knocking anything out. So I'm not particularly opposed to just leaving Magpike in. The question is who's attacking. And I think the Armantis is gonna click Deep Breath. The question is it once or twice? And that's a tough call here. And the other thing is, do I want to just tag Riplash in? And I think the answer to that might be yes. Just for who? Yeah, I'm gonna tag Riplash in. Okay, it's the double Deep Breath Relentless. I can deal a whole bunch of damage from the front row here, so... No more Dread on the field, which means the Orgella isn't going down as fast, which is quite annoying. I would not be surprised to see the Conjure come out soon. Either way, I think I want to click... I really need to provoke the Armantis. As much as I want to click Shake Off, I really need to provoke the Armantis. It can't KO Riplash with Ricochet. Orgella, if in the back, can't KO Riplash with Relentless. So we're in a bit of a stalemate at the moment, which is nice, I suppose. I can only assume the Orgella is about to click Blaze again. But I can also just Cyclone it, now that I think about it. And that might be a pretty good option, if I'm perfectly honest. Oh, this is a hard turn. Let's Cyclone it. Nope, okay, it's back row Relentless, but hey, I mean, Cyclone does mean that I at least get a good amount of HP back. Trait Dance Eruption Provoke on the Conjure, okay. I'm just gonna get some damage, I think. Armantis is gonna be able to heal some of this off here. But the goal of this game is get everything low. This will, of course, put Ricochet online, which I'm a little scared about. But I can block it. Grit from Dugout does do enough. This is tough. I can also just move Riplash to the back row now that I think about it. Yeah, there's no sideways move here. I'm moving Riplash back because then I don't have to guess on the block. I think Conjar will end up coming in for the Armantis. Yeah, okay. We see the Grit. That's what I was expecting, so I kind of wish I had gone for it, but either way. Conjar or Orgella should come in here. Schloom is back up, which is super nice. I'm gonna provoke the Dugout because that means it can't Torch Pass too soon. And we're gonna hit into it for pretty obvious reasons, being that I don't want to give the Armantis Ricochet, and there's probably a Conjar coming in anyway. Or an Orgella. If the Orgella comes in, it's actually kind of an issue. Okay. They just block Riplash, which tracks. Grit from the Dugout not really doing all that much here, which is nice to see. It is going to be below 50 here, so I could actually just tag in Magpike, and I think I am going to do that. We see double deep breath free ball. Interesting. However, I can click finisher at the Dugout right here, and it is still... I can provoke the Armantis this turn, so I'm absolutely clicking steal and provoke. The question is just, what do I want to do with this? Is it lower the Armantis, or is it click finisher into the Dugout slot? And I think the Dugout is switching here. If Zonk reads that, good on them, but I'm not scared of taking a Ricochet this next turn because I have two perfectly healthy beasties on the field, so I'm just going to hit the Armantis. It's angry, it can't block right now. Yeah, there's the Conjar. Zonk's probably going to block me, if I had to guess. Or Zonk's going to probably provoke me and click Eruption. The Ricochet is obviously also a good option, but what I could do here is get Schloom back in to threaten sideways, and I think I am going to do that. Yeah, double provoke Ricochet, makes sense. I don't knock out the Armantis, though, and that's quite annoying. This game has gone an awfully long time with no points yet. Either way, I win the provoke war here, which is nice. But the question is, do I want to, or do I want to click finisher, or relaxed hit? I think the Conjar is running to the back row. The Conjar is running to the back row, so what do I want to do about that? Do I want to get 48 damage on the Armantis? And then take a Ricochet, potentially? Trot actually doesn't take very much from Ricochet, so I could just tag them in. I won't win the provoke war if I'm doing this, but we get a lot of damage off that I need. And Armantis notably cannot deep breath twice this turn. We do see KO potential on Shloom, which is annoying. I think what's realistically happening here is Crafty is probably getting trait danced off of Magpike, and Zonk is clicking Ricochet into one of these two slots. It's just a matter of which one, and I think the answer is it's probably going to be Shloom. Let's get Trident. Yep. Correct. So, Finisher now kills anything in this left slot other than the Orgella. Or Zonk clicks block. I think Zonk is probably going to click block. I think I'd simply like to be at high HP. But I can also take Monster Block now that I think about it. So we're going to take Monster Block and not have to deal with the consequences of... Alright. Orgella's in and it's at 35, which is a beautiful number. How's Eruption doing? Eruption is not probably... I think that's 25 from the front row, if I'm not mistaken. Relentless kills either of these two. I probably should have hit Relaxed Hit there, honestly. I need to get a Provoker back on the field. It's a question of who that needs to be. And I think the answer is... it's Tort Anchor, because there are 2 Spirit Attackers on the field. No, it's Shloom. Just for the trait dance shenanigans, I'm putting Shloom back in for Magpike, and we're gonna see if I get the call right here as to who's potentially going down. Alright, we got it wrong. Unfortunate. Either way, stuff's on low HP here, and I can Torch Pass into... I can Torch Pass into... I can Torch Pass into Riplash just fine. So we got a Provoke off here. Or we get 2 Provokes off here. I think we get 2 Provokes off here. Provoke, Free Ball is actually a fantastic play here because it gets Drum Up on my side. And it makes sure the Orgella can't take itself out, so I can just sort of get Magpike in for free to click Finisher. Or Riplash in. Probably more likely Riplash, actually. I'm gonna freeball the Orgella. Conjure comes to the front. Interesting. So a front row Eruption will not do all that much. But, and here's the important thing, Finisher doesn't take out the entire bench, but it's close. I think we want Magpike up because it has more Spirit Defense. Oh wait, Muscle Memory will take out the entire bench. It doesn't have the boost right now. Oh, we're 1 damage short. We are 1 damage short of greatness. That's tragic. Front row grit isn't an issue here. No provoker on the field. The Orgella is going to click. It's going to be superorganism here. Jughead will go down to muscle memory next turn. I think I'd like to Cyclone it out simply to prevent damage. I can't see anything else being really worthwhile. Other than maybe, like, going really low and moving Riplash to front row to deal more damage. So I'm gonna have to move Riplash to front row, actually, because I want to make sure I can... Oh, I miscalced that. Hold on. We're probably gonna give up a point here again, which is annoying and I hate it. Should have moved Tort Anchor to the front. That was a misplay on my part. But either way, this game is close, and I'm happy with how it goes, even if it hasn't worked out. I can also just tag Tratin and immediately steal Superorganism, so this thing can't continue being a menace. Okay, it's in the front, which is a problem. As it can now... Trat notably won't go down even to a +4 Relentless. I think I might have calced that. I'm not sure. Dugout's gonna get drained here. Yeah, I think I need to tag Tratin. I don't know if it's the right call, but it's a call I am making. No Blaze. Okay. I'm just gonna click refresh here and I think give Orgella Mischief. Yeah, we just need damage on this thing. It's as simple as that. If I can get Superorganism off of it... Oh, the Armantis is in. Okay. Interesting. So it can keep Deep Breath and Sneak here. I guess maybe Zonk wanted that to go down? Not sure. Ricochet does KO Trat here. But again, not if I move to the back row. Okay, it's free ball. I should have trait danced in that case. Yeah, Zonk just wants their beasties healthy, which makes sense. I'm gonna take Monster Block now. I don't know if it's... Actually, no, hold on, that's not useful. We're gonna provoke, I think, the Armantis. Yeah, let's provoke the Armantis so it can't get lower. Can't get more HP back. And hit the Orgil and see how that goes. Conjure's in. Okay. Conjure's Eruption isn't really a threat here. It can provoke, which is annoying as per usual. I just need damage on these two, and I don't have it right now. I can only assume the Armantis is attacking here, so I'm just gonna block them. And that will mean Trat at least survives to click something here. Provoking the Tort Anchor is interesting. I want to hit the Conjure here. For ricochet reasons, but also because I want the Conjure below 50. Shloom is back up, which is super nice. Relaxed Hit kind of does nothing to it, so I think I do want to click Echo Strike. It does have late Trait Dance, which is annoying. Like, Mischief Trait Dance at the moment, which is annoying, but... do I want to... Actually, I'd like to take Monster Block off the Armantis, so I'm... Let's just do that. I also think Zonk might block Trat here. Okay, Trait Dance, so I can't get Shanty up. Makes sense. But either way... Not taking much damage here. I want Shloom in for sure. So we are tagging Shloom in. There is simply no question about it. Stall gameplay. This has been an awfully long first match. I want to say we're almost at like 30 minutes of just this match alone. Okay, so something has to move to the back. And I think once again, it's probably going to be the Conjure moving to the back, and I'd like to hit the Armantis. I need to provoke the Conjure, though. Seven damage to the Conjure is not as much as I'd like to do here. But it's still 7 damage, and that's closer to being knocked out by muscle memory, so we're gonna go for it. Yep. I didn't have a way to both provoke it, but I need to be able to Torch Pass here. So we are Torch Passing here. And I'm gonna put Magpike in, because I think it's gonna be able to sustain itself far better. Yeah, see, Magpie's back at full now. And I don't see how Zonk is going to get it below full. The Orgella cannot knock itself out with Blaze here, and there's no provoke on the field. So that's really quite fantastic. I can block the Armantis for free, and I think we might almost be there. The dugout is back up, though, which is actually super annoying. With that said, I did manage to take the Scaldra entirely out of play for this entire match. It's just a matter of how do I get past the rest. We see Relentless. Yep, makes sense. Zonk correctly predicting who I was going to go for there. However, Finisher would knock out the Orgella. I think this is just a provoke free ball turn, if I'm perfectly honest. Yeah, I'm just sending it. Yep, no blocks for you. So Finisher will knock out Orgella on the next turn. Tordanker's still with Mischief here. Oh, I could have provoked it later and hit Relaxed Hit here, actually, now that I think about it. So, what's the 50-50, Zonk? Who's attacking? I think it's the Armantis this time. Yep, we got it. Not that I think that hugely matters, but it's a little less HP, I take. Dugout from the back will be able to, unfortunately, knock out Magpike with Grit. So if Dugout comes in here, that's actually a major issue. And therefore I do need to click Relaxed Hit as much as I do not want to. But I don't think the Orgella stays in when I can click Finisher. Yeah, okay. So I'm now back up to 82. Nothing the Armantis can do can knock out Magpike. It's a question of what Zonk does here. Trat's almost back up again, which is super nice. Shloom's gonna be back up with 70 max HP. I do think I need... I don't know if blocking really gets me much here. I think I'd rather provoke the Armantis, so I can get more damage. Yeah. Grit doesn't knock me out, but again, I can just heal basically all of that back with Relaxed Hit. And we're getting ever closer to having everything really low here. Basically, the end game for this here is try and get Riplash in safely. I'm not sure how we have proposed to do that yet. Okay. Dugout's in the front row, which sucks, actually. Trat can survive. I haven't got to click build once yet, which is kind of silly, but this is when I wish I had Mighty Yell. I just move Magpie to the side here and give up this point. And now I can hit provoke on counterserve, which is very significant. Magpike will not go down to this grid from the back row. And Finisher will not quite kill Dugout, but it will be low enough that it will die next turn. Actually, hold on. We click Relaxed It here, don't we? Yeah, Magpike will be at 87. Or 77. Grit won't be able to knock it out. This is possibly one of the longest matches of Beastieball ever already, and it is game 1. 3. I have been recording for 50 minutes and we're on game 1. Squaldrain. Interesting. Zonk wants them drained. Dread's up. I can still get Magpike to 81 here, which is pretty good. Because Finisher isn't going to do it yet. But if Zonk reads me and the Orgella comes in, I have issues. So I'm going to click Finisher and really hope it's the Orgella. It's the Dugout. Okay. We get a point finally. I can click Relaxed Hit here on the serve. And it's going into the Armantis so that it has a harder time clicking Sneak. And the Orgella now cannot go down to... Or, no, it will actually go down to Blaze. It will go down to Blaze. I forgot about Dread damage. Provoke the Armantis here so it can't heal up. Probably just click Relaxed It into the Armantis. I need to see if I can I get Shloom back in safely? Yes. That's important. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to Torch Pass afterward. But I think with Tort I should be able to. Either way, I don't want our Mantis at the net. Okay, we see Sting. Relentless will not knock out Magpike. I watch Lumen. Simple as that. Okay, Orgella does come to the front row, which is kind of predictable. Schloom unfortunately does get drained on offense here, which is super rough, but at least I can provoke something. And I think that's gonna be the Armantis, because I do not want that thing healing. I provoke the Armantis and free ball into the Orgella. Because that way, yeah, no deep breath, even though it has mischief. Relentless won't knock out Bones here. Ricochet won't knock out Bones here. I can't Torch Pass, but I can get Magpike back in and start clicking Finisher, maybe. Or do I want Trat in? Trat being in is not terribly unappealing. Actually, now that I think about it, because I can steal Super Organism again. And now I finally get Super Organism build up. I, however, cannot knock out the Armantis, which is a problem. Actually, I think I just click build here. Now that I think about it. Oh, because now I can get my good friend, I can get my good friend Riplash in for free here if I so desire. If Orgella stings here and blazes, it is on 1 HP. So we are going to hit the Armantis and hope it does not move to the front. Okay, we see Dugout here. Tordanker is nice and healthy again, which is lovely. I still have Mischief, so I can steal Unflappable here. And I think that's what I'm going to do, because then Trat actually won't go down here. Yep. Trat won't go down here, which is funny. I can provoke the Armantis, so there's no more deep breath. And then we Echo Strike the Armantis, and again, hope it doesn't move to the front. This is wild. Oh god, the Scaldra's back in. The Scaldra's back in. Grit does a lot of damage. Yeah, I have no play other than tagging Magpike in. I think this one is finally over. The Dugout is... and Magpike goes down to Dread. Yeah, that's it, unfortunately. Here, Zonk, you can have your Unflappable back. Brad is still holding on, but no one else is. Okay. "40 minutes. Just gonna make sure that was 50 minutes. Yeah, Zonk is asking if we can put off the rest of the games for a while. I'm probably gonna start recording again in a bit because they have stuff to do. And I'm gonna think more about my game plan for number 2. So let's see how this goes. See you all in a bit. All right. Part 2. We are back from the halftime show. Zonk is not quite ready yet, but I want to give a bunch of my thoughts going into game 2. First of all, Magpike was incredible. But the issue I found with it was Zonk repeatedly hit into the Magpike and just didn't ever attack the Tort Anchor. So what I should consider is maybe tagging something into the Tort Anchor slot sometime to start causing issues. I'm just not quite sure what that is. Because I think Trat was built for more short-term issues and doesn't really help with the long-term. Shloom doesn't do as much damage as I like, but having Shloom next to Magpike would be kind of nice. Basically, I think what I want ideally is I want to set up so that I eventually have Magpike in the second slot rather than the first slot. I've been thinking about whether I want serve or counter serve. Realistically, serve should be better because it means I can prevent a heat wave from going off immediately, but I think what happens if I give up serve is our Mantis just comes out on serve. And then we run into all of those issues. And I've been wondering about the possibility of... Yeah, it's tough. Basically, I want Riplash to stay healthy. I think that's my main thing for game 2, is I want to be able to get Riplash in safely and start doing damage on serves. The issue is I also need to make sure that that slot on Zonk's team is low enough health in order to actually beat it. Now, Draft League rules, I'm not allowed to like change my team order up or anything. That's something we might consider for future seasons. But for now, this is my static team order. Zonk knows what I'm bringing. I know what Zonk's bringing. I've already forgotten some of the orders, so I might go back and review the video if it's going to be a bit longer. But we're in a set order here. So again, the options for counter serve, if I take counter serve, are immediate trait dance nonsense, which I don't think is going to be that useful. I think Trat is going to be more useful if it isn't on the field at the very beginning. So I almost think I want to counter serve with like Riplash Tort Anchor and just click Cyclone off Rip. It's really hard to say. I could also lead like Magpike Riplash, but I think that's a little rough because then I don't have a Provoker on the field, and I absolutely would like a Provoker on the field. That is one thing that I don't think is negotiable. But I do think I need something out to start dealing damage early. And that is probably going to be Riplash, because it's the only thing with a super big, like, damaging move. So a fun option I have is just to serve right away and click Muscle Memory turn 1 and then, like, tag Riplash out on defense. Or click Cyclone to get dug out off the field or something. And it's really tough to say. I don't think the Echo Strike was like super necessary. Again, I think I let Trat get like whittled down too early. I had Torch Pass go off too early. I don't want to start with Shloop on the field. So I think that really leaves me with Riplash Tort Anchor as my lead of choice. And I think because I'm leading Riplash toward Anchor, I would like to serve. I have Shake Off for this reason. Toward Anchor, it will mean gets a bit lower, but I really don't mind Torch passing into Toward Anchor at some point, because I think Shloom is probably going to come into the second slot most of the time, if I had to guess. But the Toward Anchor stayed on the field for a very long time. Something I could also try and lean into is somehow getting Receive Weariness. But I think that'll be a little bit tricky because the thing that really would have to take that Receive Weariness would be the Armantis, and I don't want to hit into the Armantis. But we will see. We will see how it goes. I'm gonna keep yapping while I wait to see if Zonk is ready. Because this matchup is crazy. Alright. Yeah. I want to get Shloom in, ideally, I think. Probably when there isn't a Provoker on the field most of the time. Conjar's the one with Provoke at the moment. I don't think anything else has Provoke. Conjar is really something that I didn't prep for enough. I prepped quite a lot for Albrax and just didn't think didn't really expect the Conjar all that much to be as much of an issue as it was, but I kind of should have expected that Zonk would bring the thing with the highest body defense on their team when, you know, ultimate attack is an option I have. So it's going to be a bit hard to deal with that, but I think the way to do it is going to be with probably just clicking Slice a bunch, actually, now that I think about it. But that does, of course, require getting Trat and Shloom onto the field at the same time, which is going to be harder said than done, or easier said than done. Because, of course, if I'm not starting with them on the field, then Shloom isn't Ancient. Then it's harder to get Ancient off Shloom. And I think the answer is I want to tag Shloom in when Trat is already tagged in. And not going down, ideally. But yeah, I have 3 body attackers, one of which is kind of weak. Or 2 of which are kind of weak. Only one of which is pretty strong, and even then it's not that good at, like... The thing that I ran into the issue of is I consistently ended up with stuff around, like, 60 or so HP, which is not enough for Finisher to get boosted. So Magpike kind of wasn't doing the damage I needed it to. And I don't have a way to really ramp. Magpike, of course, having Steel is useful because it means I can get it to the front row at least. It's hard to get Riplash to the front row at the moment. I kind of assumed that the Scaldra would have patience or, like, over-prepared for it, just because I know that Foggy's a big deal and it could stick around on the field for a long time. So I'm regretting that a bit, but, yeah. That's I think my biggest mistake during prep, is I over-prepared for the Scaldra. That really wasn't an issue, because I kept it off the field for most of Game 1. It got low, and it was off the field for a good, like, 30 minutes. Tough stuff. Thinking really hard about how I want to deal with the Orgella. I obviously want Riplash to be around and probably healthy so that I can click Cyclone if necessary. The There's something to be said for really trying to get Riplash behind a wall. I'm not sure if it'll really be enough, because the thing about Riplash behind a wall is then it can't move forward and can't deal more damage. And also, like, it has to actually, like, be hit behind that wall in order for the wall to actually be worth it, because what happened game 1 is I set up a wall and then my movement was restricted. And I didn't really have a way out at that point. Zonk is gonna be here in a minute. So, we're getting ready to go. I did a good job, I think, of keeping Dugout kind of off the field. There is another option, which is I could give Zonk serve and hope that it's an Armantis serve and just immediately trait dance Monster Block off of it. But the issue again then would be it now has Mischief Deep Breath, which is kind of rough. But I would like Monster Block off of it. If I have Monster Block, that's an interesting proposition. What if I were to get Monster Block on to, say, Tort Anchor, and just have Tort Anchor chill in the front row? That's an option. I'm not sure if it's really a great option. I think the issue that I've come to realize with build is that you need the thing behind it to actually be threatening. And the problem is with Trat right now is Trat isn't particularly threatening very much, and that was, I think, an oversight I had in building the team. Builds a funky move. I always wonder if I should have kept cleanup, but I think having rhythm around did wonders for my sustain in the previous game, so. We will see how this goes. I did add like a tiny bit of attack investment to Trat, I think specifically because it deals like a slightly more damage to something on Zonk's team. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was the Scaldra. But I am wondering now if I should have just gone higher on it. It is really helpful to have that just like massive tank, or well, a lot of massive tanks on this team. But I'm definitely feeling the effects of not having damage. Anyway, I need to decide who's serving. And it's really tough, but I think I am gonna go... Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Zonk serving and me... Oh gosh. I'm flip-flopping. Zonk serving maybe and me having Tort Anchor Trat. That seems potentially useful. So, right side. Right side serves. I have 60 more seconds to think about this. So, there are a few options here. The Scaldra serves with Eruption, the Conjure serves with Eruption, or the Armantis serves with Sneak. And I think it's going to be the Armantis serving with Sneak, so I am simply going to lead these two. Yep, I was correct. Which means... I am simply immediately going to trait dance Monster Block off, I think. The issue, though, with trait dancing monster block off is then it means... then it means I can't really click Echo Strike at all. So I guess I'm committing to switching Trat out. Which makes sense, I suppose, because I am going to click Build in a sec. I could also just put Trat in the front row. Alright, so I can provoke the Armantis here, but I think what's going to happen is it's going to be Heat Wave. And I'll be honest, I really don't want these two sweaty yet. I just double provoke Free Ball here. Now that I have Shanty over here, I can just do this, and I need to remind myself of that. I can immediately disrupt Zonk's game plan pretty heavily now. I can give one of these Shanty... I could also just tag someone in here. I could move someone up as well. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put Trat up front and just Echo Strike the Armantis real quick. I feel a little bad not using all of my actions, but I think this is ideal. The Armantis now has Shanty, which is not exactly useful for it. Or the Conjar has Shanty. I can, if I so desire, provoke the Conjar on defense here. Which I don't think is the least useful thing, honestly. So let's try that. Zonk also wants drums up. Amusing. This is already off to a very funny start. This is already very silly. I would like to provoke the Sculptra. Let's do some damage to it. Armantis comes in. Okay. There's certainly something to be said for the option of having switched there, potentially, but I'm gonna take Monster Block now. And we're hitting the Scaldra. Or the Conjar. That works too, I suppose. So I think Ricochet is being clicked here. Question is, what do I want to do with that information? And the answer is, I think I'd like someone dealing damage to sit in the front row. But I could also just... I could block, but I don't think blocking really accomplishes much for me. Let's provoke the Conjar. Yeah, because they provoke Trap, which checks out. Unfortunately, I am now drained, which isn't ideal, but I can always put Trap to the back. Do I want to, though? That's the main question. This is rough, actually. Tort is down, which is not good. Scaldra's in. I don't have Shani up anymore, which is kind of annoying, because Dread's about to come back up. The annoying thing is just trying to get damage on the Armantis, and I'm not really sure how to do that at the moment. I think the answer is we're going to send Magpike in here. Because Magpike can get right back up to 95 here. I don't know if this game is going to go quite as well as the last one. I really wish that Scaldra was on slightly less HP, but it's unfortunately not. Dugout comes in. Interesting. Grit isn't really doing all that much. Scaldra's on below half, which means Finisher kills it. I mean, I think Zonk is probably clicking Grit here. Let's block the Dugout. Oh no, okay, it's Eruption. Fair enough. The Dugout now can't attack with Grit if I give up a point, which is nice. That's actually an annoying one to have gotten wrong. Either way, I think what's happening is I'm tagging in Shloom here in a moment. Yeah, it has good enough spirit defense that I'm not particularly concerned about it going down. So we're just going to deal a bunch of damage to Dugout. Because Scaldra does need to tag out here. Yeah. Orgella's in. It can click Blaze all at once. I don't care. Blocking it won't do anything because it does have Relentless. So me having Monster Block isn't really the most useful thing. But I need a Provoker in. So we're putting a Provoker in. Oh, and I think we get a point here with Slice. Does Zonk see me predicting the Provoke is the... Does Zonk predict the Provoke, I guess, is another question that we have to address. And I think the Armantis comes in the front row here, if I'm real. And I think I'm actually going to provoke the Orgella, because I really would not like it clicking Sting. If Ricochet happens, I have an out. Which is I tag in. Okay. They do just Torch Pass. So that's not the best for me. But Magpike doesn't go down here, which is nice. It won't go down if I hit into the Orgella here. Immediate Sting now. Did I not provoke the Orgella? Did I undo that? Oh, I think I undid that. That's actually quite unfortunate, honestly. Schloom can't go down here, which is nice. I'm just gonna put Magpike in the front row. I think. Tagging Schloom out might have been a better idea now that I think about it. Okay, the Conjurer has Crafty now, which is funny, and unfortunately doesn't do anything with Eruption. But, not going to hit the Orgella here because I don't want it to be able to knock itself out with Blaze, even though this does open me up to a strong attack here this turn. The thing is, I think what's going to happen is the Conjurer is going to provoke. I'm gonna make a really hard read here. Oh no, I have Quake. It won't work. So I really want Schloom to go down here, but that's not gonna happen. So we're actually gonna let's let Magpike go down. Oh, of course, because Quake is up. Yeah. That tracks. Alright, we get lucky there. That is exactly what I wanted to happen this turn. What did I get a point? It's already been so long this game that I don't remember when I got a point. So Zonk does not have to move anything to the front row here, but that's not why I'm doing stuff. It's because I want Schloom to be drained. And I would like, I think, to provoke this Orgella, but maybe I would like to provoke the Conjurer. Schloom is going to get drained here no matter what. The Orgella's boosts are reset, so it's going to have to weaken itself somewhat. And there is Quake on the field, so I am just going to provoke the Conjurer, and this will put the Orgella below 50%, which is useful. Because I am assuming it's going to click Blaze here. Blaze Relentless. This is kind of a rough situation. I need Magpike back up, but it's just not. Orgella on 41, which is not ideal. I have Rhythm up, so Sting doesn't do anything, which is noteworthy. I just want to shake off here and click Relaxed Hit into the Conjar again, because I don't want the Orgella to be able to knock itself out. That's the big thing about playing around Orgella, is you don't want it to get back to full HP, especially considering, you know, I have a Magpike with Finisher. Oh, it does click Sting. Okay. I should have seen that coming, actually. But I can Cyclone here. Which isn't nothing. And I think I am going to Cyclone here. I don't see a reason not to. Seeing as it's going to be back on full HP. That will, however, get the Armantis in, but I can click Provoke no matter what. This is another reason why I have Cyclone on this team. I want to get this Conjurer below 50%. So I think I'm going to click Muscle Memory. I can now, of course, get Magpike in and threaten Finisher, which is pretty big. This is tough. I'd like Magpike on the field, I think. Yeah, Tord Anchor gets provoked, so. I can click Shake Off here. Finisher doesn't knock out the Conjurer, which is pretty annoying. But Ricochet kind of does not very much here, so I think I might just hit the Armantis. I do need a little damage on the Conjurer. I'm gonna get damage on the Conjurer. I'm not gonna start my hit the Armantis project yet. Do I guess correctly on who Zonk blocks here, or do I just click Cyclone? I think I just Cyclone the Armantis. Do I Cyclone the Armantis? I'd really like some damage on it, so. I could also get that from Muscle Memory, though. Yeah, I Cyclone the Armantis. I got provoked. Fair enough. I could Muscle Memory the Armantis here. which is an interesting concept. By way of moving to the side. And I think that's what I'd like to do. So now we have this lovely little 50-50 here. I was hoping that Shloom would be back up, but it isn't. Yeah, Armantis uses Deep Breath. I can get Tort Anchor in, which is nice, I guess. Relentless Serve, like, is kinda rough here. I'm just putting Whiplash in the front. We're just gonna start doing damage. I think the defensive move here is move Armantis forward. But either way, what I want to do is I want to hit the Orgella, now that I think about it. Alright. Unfortunately, it can now blaze for free. So that's not great. I can't give up a point here. I'm already down 2. So I need to tag Shloom. Yeah, I think this one is unfortunately over, but we will see. I can of course Torch Pass here, but I just don't have the sustained damage that I really need. Stings the Shloom. Yeah, checks out. I'm guessing this is Deep Breath. Okay, well I get that right, which is nice. But it's not enough to knock out the Orgella. I'm regretting bringing Launcher. I think I needed more ramp. I was so sure that Zonk was going to bring Patience, and then they didn't. I think I had just overall overthought this one, but yeah, I think this match is unfortunately pretty over. We'll see. If they sting here, then I'm fine, but they don't. I can at least Torch Pass. Good. Ricochet does knock out here. I suppose so does Relentless. Yeah, this one's over. I'm just gonna hit the torch pass button, but yeah, ricochet into... Alright. Still a very long second match, but did not go my way, unfortunately. Okay. Alright. See if Zonk wants an interview. Okay. That was a game. Not too happy with my prep in the end. I think it would have been great if I had just... I need to really lean into what my team can do more rather than trying to dive into things it can't do, I think. This was a thing it could do against anyone but Zonk. Hello. One sec. The audio is not getting you. Application audio app capture Discord. Try talking again? No, it is not working. Why is it not working? There we go. Hold on. Try talking again? That's annoying. One sec. Restart capture. There's a button. Try again. There we go. Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, that was a series of games.
Especially the first one, good lord.
Yeah, I mean the second one wasn't much shorter.
It definitely felt shorter.
It was like 30 minutes rather than 45.
Yeah. I don't know, the first one just felt like it took an eternity.
Yeah, dang, I was like hopeful on my prep this week, and I think I went too far in the try to control the control team and strayed too far away from offense.
Yeah.
I was expecting...
There were a lot of times...
I was expecting a patience on Scaldra, I think, not thinking about the fact that you would just run, you know, the usual Dread Eruption Heatwave.
Yeah, that's just my permanent Scaldras.
If it ain't broke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my game plan this week, I think you probably figured out. It was like, get your stuff worn down so that I can click finisher or muscle memory.
Yeah. No, and that was scary. There was at least one point in game one where I felt like I was like one mistake away, or like one nasty read away from just instantly losing to that.
Yep.
Although Orgella is really good against that.
Orgella is really good against that, but I did notice eventually you just stopped hitting the Tort Anchor and there wasn't really much I could do about it.
Yeah.
Which was, I think, a bit rough for me.
The Tort Anchor is really like... The Tort Anchor was the team member for you in that match, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, everything kind of relied on having that just, like, nigh unkillable provoker, basically.
Yep.
That also set drums.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
it worked well in game one.
You wanted. Yeah, and that just, like...
It kept me in it, but not for long enough.
And so game two, I was like, I want to, like, find excuses to hit Tort Anchor when it will actually make progress. Like, I was really focused on that.
I was very much thinking, okay, how do I get Riplash into the serving slot once your stuff is all too low? And then I just never got your stuff too low, unfortunately.
Yeah. It was tough. I think you were, like, the way you were playing against my Orgella was really good.
Yeah,
like,
I think that was, I think, the strongest part of my game plan. I was like, provoke it, trait dance it, get superorganism off of it, try not to let it get superorganism off once it tags back in, fail, be sad.
Yeah, it definitely was like, there was always like, well, if I tag it out on high enough, on like the right amount of health, I could usually get it. like to superorganism itself, and then that was really strong, right? Like as soon as I get a single blaze off, that thing's just a menace.
Exactly.
But or rather like a superorganism blaze, like if it's +2 at full health, like
then it's an issue. now it's a problem. Yeah, I think part of my issue was I really didn't have like any damage at all this match. I kind of relied on you dealing damage to yourself, and then Dread just wasn't up for most of the first match because Skuldra was on 20 HP and sweaty for ages.
Yeah, Skuldra was just low, and I was like, well, I mean, like I could tag in. There were a couple times where I could have tagged in Skuldra, but I never really. It was like, well, eventually I did decide that the time was right. Okay, I feel like Dread would be good now, and because and that's the thing. Like there were times when I had, like, sure, when you had Magpike on the field, my low health stuff in the back was not safe.
Yeah, but you couldn't really tag anything
on the field. But when you didn't have Magpike on the field, it was pretty safe because, like, I could ensure that the shark couldn't hit it, and then the rest of your team really dealt enough damage. To the threat.
I'm looking back and I'm like, maybe I should have just run Thump Riplash. I relied too much on the game plan of get one of these two into the serving slot, and I should have just maybe built a little bit more towards, okay, let's have Magpike specifically clicking finisher in the serving slot and have Riplash just do damage. But I didn't go for that. Yeah. And I think I felt the effects of it. But hey, I mean, you're at 4-0 now, which is, I think, a bit unsurprising, as you have basically the team you run anyway.
Yeah. Like this time, like, okay, in previous matches, I've played some, like, kind of variations on stuff. I had Albrax all the other 3 matches. Which, to be fair, I also play Albrax quite a bit, but not on this sort of team.
Yeah, I didn't prep much for the Conjar, honestly. I thought the Albrax was going to come.
Yeah, actually, when I looked at your team setup, the first beastie I was like, this needs to be in there is Conjar.
I have too much body attackers. I don't know why I didn't see it coming.
I saw, like, yeah, like, I assumed you were going to be running Riplash just because it's insanely good beastie.
I mean, I've only brought it 2 weeks, and it almost wasn't here this week.
Fascinating. And like Shaloom, I was actually a little bit afraid of ultimate attack because I knew you had the setup to run ultimate attack, so I had to like be prepped for that. So I was like, well, Shaloom could easily be a body attacker, and Magpike can be a body attacker. And like, you didn't really have any spirit. Like, I was like, well, what are you gonna do? Like, I felt like contest Shaloom was unlikely.
Yeah, so that's one of the issues I've been finding with my team is my spirit attackers leave a little to be desired. Shaloom can only really do it from the front row. What I did have in the builder for a while, but didn't end up on the final team, and I'm kind of wishing it did now, was just like relentless exhaust Shaloom.
Ooh. Okay, that's kind of sick.
It would have been kind of sick, but the issue I found with it, I think, was just that it meant I don't have a torch passer, and I kind of really need a torch passer in this matchup.
Oh my god, the Shaloom ending up, like, torch passing 3 times in game 1.
That was kind of crazy.
Like, with current functional, like, okay, I feel like in, like, the old days of, like, no rush recovery, we saw, like, ridiculous torch pass change, but I feel like I have not seen a beast. I've never seen a beastie with 70 max HP before.
Except in round 1 of Expedition. Wait, those are 75, aren't they?
I don't know. I've played Expedition.
I think round 1 of Expedition is 75. So yeah, 70 max HP. There's the first, I suppose.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun despite how long it took.
Hell yeah, no, it was a ton of fun. And thanks for being, like, accommodating.
Yeah, of course.
As well. Really appreciate it.
Sheesh, you're at 4-0 now.
Yeah. Cat is 3-0 too as well, right?
I have lost to the 2 people who are currently undefeated.
Okay. You know, that's not a bad place to be.
I suppose.
Yeah, I was looking at the standings, and I currently, before this match, I had beaten the people who were the bottom 3 in the standings. So it's like, well, will I? Well, how will it go against?
The answer is about the same as it always does with your teams, in that people don't quite know how to play against them.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising because, like, surely at this point, people would know how to play against me, given that I run the
To be
same
fair,
thing,
I
like,
think I know how to play against it. I just don't know how to build against it.
Yeah. I think it's easy to kind of get also like too in your head about like planning for the matchup sometimes.
Yeah.
Like
I am a chronic overthinker.
Sometimes the simplest thing is just like, for this team, is just like run whatever you were gonna run, but throw like an extra steal or telekinesis somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Or dispel, right?
It's funny, I had basically the same Magpike set as last week.
Interesting.
Yeah, against Cat I was running the same thing but with Heartbreaker. I think I tweaked like a couple stats or something.
Yeah, I actually had basically the same defensive setup as last week, where it was like number 1 defense body, number 2 defense mind. Yeah. The training is really interesting. I was afraid that you were gonna like do crazy mind games and pull out spirit attackers, and I was gonna be so unprepared.
I was thinking about it for a while, and I thought against it in the end, because I mean, you do have, I'll pop this back up on screen, like 3 beasties with over 100 base mind defense, and I'm just like, there's no way that's gonna be effective.
Yeah, like you gotta look at Scaldra and be like, do I really want to bring spirit attackers?
That and Albrex and Orgello.
Yeah, and Albrex and Orgello, yeah.
And the fact that Dugout is probably going to be invested in spirit defense, most likely.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. That was part of my downfall, is...
Yeah, Dugout was 10 body, 20 mind.
Yep, and it showed. I couldn't do enough damage to it.
About how I usually run Dugout. I usually don't invest spirit in my Dugout. Yeah,
I suppose because you have a Scaldra right there to take all the spirit attacks for it.
Yeah, you got a Scaldra, and like the curse of being spirit weak is that any decent spirit attacker 2-shots you regardless of whether you invest or not.
That's true.
And if you hit my Dugout once and it's at 20, then it can torch pass, so...
Yep. A big part of my early game plan was also just like, okay, let's make sure the Dugout can't torch pass, and I succeeded for a while.
Yeah, you did.
And then I didn't succeed in game 2, but...
Yes, that is.
Yeah, I think I was definitely like more locked in game 1, I think. Game 2, I was like overthinking the lead and overthinking the lead again and some more.
Yeah.
I'm mad. I finally brought the beam that makes you old, and I didn't click it like at all.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like shocked by your lead. I was like, this is not at all what I was expecting to be facing. Like, I was 100% expecting to be facing cleanup trap.
Yeah, the idea behind it is I can put Ancient on one of your beasties and steal one of your traits for Shloom.
Yeah.
And then I was actually very much still thinking about cleanup, but I decided that having that really good counter serve and not needing to like freeball turn 1 was pretty valuable. Yeah. And then I went for it game 1 sort of, but not really.
Yeah.
I think one of the big struggles was Shloom just ended up too low too early game 1 and had to torch pass out, and so I couldn't start provoking and giving everything Ancient. But it was a fun game plan nonetheless. I'm just sad I didn't make it work.
Oh yeah, totally. I'd love to see more of that game plan, like in more than just this one match, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a large part of the reason why I drafted Trat.
Yeah, I'm happy to see Trat.
It's been happening. It's been so fun.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, who do you have next? Sorry, go on.
Echo Strike. I do think Echo Strike Trat is potentially just very strong.
Yeah, it's quite good. I think Echo Strike plus Trait Dance is maybe slightly weaker, at least if you're trying to use it as like a disruptive one, because I felt what I found out very quickly, especially in game 2, is if I take Monster Block and put it on my Trat, I now can't click Echo Strike.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want your stuff to have Monster Block. That seems like a bad idea.
And I got your Shanty at one point, too, from that.
Yeah, I was less concerned about. But...
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. But even just, like using Echo Strike Trat as, like, Diablo Light.
Yeah. I have been eyeing the fact that Diablo is available on the draft board, and like thinking, oh, should I pick it up? No, I have Riplash Beetle back. But should I? I don't know. It might be
time. How does that work? How does the things being open on the draft board work? I actually literally don't know
you can just do free agent trades. If there's stuff on the draft board and you want to pick it up, you can drop stuff from your roster and deal, like, as long as it still works with the number of points you have, you can make those free agent transactions. So like if I wanted to drop Riplash for Diablo, I could do that.
But you would have to like announce that before.
Yes, of course. Yeah. This is fun and informative for anyone who is thinking about playing in a draft league for the future. Transactions are chill. But the thing about transactions is you have to get them in before the start of the week so that people don't like know what they're prepping for. So say if I were to do a transaction today, it would be effective next week, regardless of whether I still had a match this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for chatting. Thanks for the solid 2 hours of Beastieball.
Yep, we sure played a lot of Beastieball.
This'll be a nice long YouTube video. Who are you facing next week?
Who am I facing next week?
You are facing Ket next week, by the looks of it.
Oh boy.
That's exciting.
That's terrifying.
Time to see if you will become a rally victim or not.
Yeah, what does Ket have? Does Ket in fact just have rally?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Slightly less rally than previously because they did drop Surgus for Roslaiden, but it's a rally team.
Excuse me. Yep. Hopra, Apostle, Grisada, Playmask. Hopsong!
Hopsong is there.
Hopsong is there. I want to see the Hopra plus Hopsong strats. I have Flowish on my team. Someday, maybe, it will be time for the double super organism.
Maybe next week, who knows?
Who knows?
Anyway, thank you so much for chatting. To anyone watching, thanks for watching. You can watch my speedruns on Twitch, and I hope you have a good time zone.